What cheer, y'all? Welcome back to Red at the Wire. Well, you've probably heard the news by now that Keeneland, because of the impending rainstorm, the flooding that they're expecting this weekend, has moved the Friday and Saturday racing to Monday and Tuesday, respectively. So obviously, we need a filler for Saturday. So what I've decided to do is just as sort of a way to give us a gap. And by the way, we're going to have all the Keeneland, the full card, the selections for Saturday, now Tuesday's card. And we've already got postings out for the Bluegrass and the Ashland. So take a look at those for Keeneland. But Aqueduct has a pretty good card on Saturday. And they have the Grand Slam, which is a pick four, and it's all stakes, races 9 through 12, anchored by the Wood Memorial. So I thought, as a way to give us a little something while we wait for Keeneland, we can take a look at Aqueduct. We're going to try to get the full card in, by the way. No promises on that, but we will endeavor to do our best. But anyway, let's talk about the Grand Slam. We'll start with leg one, which is the Gazelle. It's a grade 3, ninth race on the card, running a mile and an eighth for 3-year-old fillies. We already have an individual posting on this, so you can look at that for a little more in-depth analysis. Looking at this field, the key to me, there's a ton of horses in here who are running off of Lasix. And they have showed improvement going onto it, and now they're coming off. So you take Vanilla Sunday, for instance. This is a horse whose first two starts were in the mud, but they were not very good. Put this horse on Lasix, debuts at 3, wires the field by a bunch with a career-high speed figure. Looks like a different horse. Was it Lasix? Maybe, maybe not. Is this horse just quantum leapt at 3 years old? Maybe. I don't know. It's very hard to tell. If Vanilla Sunday can replicate that race, she's got a very good chance to wire this field. Liam in the Dust, we've seen on the stakes trail and has not been very good. It's just cheap speed, really. And Late Night Call, I don't think is good enough. So that leaves Vanilla Sunday, again, as if she can run off a Lasix, she's got a very good chance here. So it's definitely one to use. Early on is coming from a surprisingly good second in the Virginia Derby. Not the Virginia Derby, Virginia Oaks. Came from way, way, way out of it at one turn. This is a horse who has run closer to the pace prior, so that gives me a little bit of hope. Short rest, coming back on 2 weeks, which I would assume is a good sign for Safi Joseph. And it wasn't Lasix in early on's case. She ran just fine without it. The problem I have is she's just way too far back. This is a horse I think you can use, but I think the win possibilities are remote. I never like it when a horse steps up in class and has to come from that far back. And to me, it says there's a little something wanting in their quality. But early on, I think is one you can logically use. Pure Beauty, to me, is a value play in here. I like what I've seen with the progression. And again, this is a race that there's a lot of horses that, we're going to find out about them without Lasix. And I think Pure Beauty looks like is progressing well. And I think stands a chance, particularly because there's probably not going to be a whole lot of pace and is going to be in a good position up and amongst the leaders. Ballerina Doro for Chad Brown. I mean, if she doesn't win this race, I don't think she's ever going to win a race. You got a soft field here. This one came off the bench and ran okay. But the problem is that she appears to be pace dependent, as a lot of closers are. And I don't know how much pace there's going to be. But on class alone, she's better than everybody in this field. And so I'm going to pick her to win. I'm not 100% about it. That's really the only, the main issue I've got is because that she has been disappointing at times, but appears to have quality. And being Chad Brown and knowing she needs this race for the Oaks, I think we'll have it tuned up all the way. And that, I think, will be enough in this spot. De La Reine has been more on turf than dirt, but it isn't a bad angle for the trainer. And I think De La Reine may be as a kind of a sleeper in here. We'll see what she can do. But It's a spread race to me because Vanilla Sunday is the X factor for Todd Pletcher. And, it's Rapoli Stables, so it could be one of those, hey, she's running pretty well. Let's put her in a stakes race. Or she could be really taking a step forward. We'll see. But I think this is a race that it just screams to be spread, and that's what we're going to do. But Ballerina Doro is the primary selection. Second leg of the Grand Slam is the Carter. It's a Grade 2 10th race run at 7 furlongs for 4-year-olds and up. Little note about the chute at Aqueduct. You'll note there is a gap at the rail. So there are times where horses on the rail can get pinched. And it's a little something to think about there. You just always want to remember that about the 7 furlong chute at Aqueduct. Taking a look at this field, it's, this chock full of plenty of speed, as you might expect. Maximus Meridius, in particular, I think, will likely be the speed of the speed. And he's just in really good form. It's funny, he seems to be a better horse in the winter than he is in the summer. Now, I don't know if he's just filled out and really starting to feel it at 4. This horse always had quality. You could see it at 3 years old. He was on the Derby Trail for a little while. 2 turns too much for him. But he's really been running. He's been in extremely good form lately. And I'll expect he'll be the pace here. And if he is, he's going to get the fractions that he wants. Running at about that 22:45 and change seems to be ideal for him. If it was going to be faster, if I thought it'd be like a lightning pace, then I might worry about it. But I think he's in good shape here. It's a distance he can run at. And in just really good form. I think he's one of the top 2 to win this race. I like Quince Brew. Watching him, this is a horse definitely on the come at 4 years old. He has run in, even though he ran at Laurel for his last couple, those were good quality fields. And I like the fact that he can rate. He doesn't have to have the lead, but I think he could do it if need be. I think he'll be right next to Maximus Meridius, and he would probably need to take another step forward. This is certainly a big test for him going into a Grade 2, but I like what I've seen. Interesting little side note, if you look at Quince Brew, he reminds me a lot of Sunday Silence because of his blaze. He has a really distinct blaze, and if you remember Sunday Silence, he did too. So he's interesting from that perspective, and that he can run. And I like him in this spot. Hopefully we'll get a halfway decent price. The odds aren't out yet, by the way, for Aqueduct, so that's why they're not here. Full Moon Madness is another one who's just coming off a career-high effort. But the thing about Full Moon Madness is while he likes Aqueduct, he doesn't like 7 furlongs. He's never won at it. And the last time he hooked up with Maximus Meridius, he flamed out. He just wasn't able to hang in there. And he hasn't been in all the starts in watching them. And really the last one, he ran at 7 furlongs. There was really no excuse whatsoever. He just couldn't maintain his form. This is a really good horse at 6 furlongs, not so much at 7. Can he hang on for underneath? Perhaps, but I think the price is going to be a little too short for me. I could go either way with him. It's your call, but I would not pick him as a win candidate. He doesn't like 7 furlongs. Dilger is for Safi Joseph and Dylan Davis. They're hooking at 80%, and he comes from off the pace. That's really the appeal more than anything. He certainly would have to get faster, but really a horse more I'm thinking about for underneath. He is in decent form, and coming from off the pace is usually a pretty good place to be at 7 furlongs. Sheriff Bianco for Linda Rice is an old battle-tested contender. He's coming off a break, so that's the appeal at 7 years old. He's firing fresh, and 7 furlongs is a distance he's okay at. And he's just one I think is very logical to be underneath because he should be at his sharpest coming off the bench at his age. Crazy Mason, I don't really even want to use this horse, to be honest. He's got no chance to win this race, and the real simple reason is he comes from the stratosphere. He comes from the parking lot. You look at his early fractions, he does no running whatsoever, and then he has that blistering close, kind of like Red Route 1. At 7 furlongs, it's probably, they've cut him back from routes to sprints. And he's certainly having that extra panel at 7 furlongs would be a help. But I don't think they're going to run fast enough to really favor his running style. And he's just comes from so far back. I just can't see it. But you want to use him underneath. I can't see that. So to me, I'm going with Quince Brew, the horse on the rise. But I think Maximus Meridius is a worthy win candidate as well. Those would be my top two in the Carter. The third leg of the Grand Slam is the Excelsior, an ungraded stakes for $150,000, 11th race on the card, run at 1.25 miles for 4-year-olds and up. We've seen a lot of these before. Batten Down for Bill Mott is usually on the stakes trail and made a little noise. Full brother to Tacitus. I think he's going to win this race by default. The last couple of races he hasn't got to the lead. He does his best running when he can just outrun the field on the lead, and I think he's going to get it here. I don't think Phileas Fogg or Mama's Gold are going to be able to take it from him, particularly since they're perched to the outside. And I just think Batten Down is a better horse. He's got a great jockey with Joel Rosario taking the place of Junior Alvarado, and he's really good at marshaling speed on the front end, and I think this is just an ideal placement for Batten Down, and I think he's going to wire the field. Film Star, I've watched too many times be in the money, in the mix, always fighting, always competing, probably not good enough to win this race, and at 6 years old, maybe starting to wane a little bit, but is going to be firing fresh, and it's for Linda Rice. I'm sure she wants to have a good showing on Wood Memorial Day. So I would certainly use Film Star. You'll get a decent price, and I think he'll be in the mix. Probably not good enough to win, but I think he's a good bet for under. Classic Catch is kind of a lot of horses in this race, they all sort of have the same reluctance to win. And Classic Catch is one of them. He just sort of keeps running. I didn't like his last effort really very much at all. It was kind of a suck-up third in a 4-horse field. He was no threat whatsoever, and he really never is. He's a good bet to just keep running, and that alone at 1.25 miles will keep him in the money. But as a win candidate, no. Even with the blinkers on, and why did it take him this long to put the blinkers on is a little bit of a surprise to me. So Classic Catch for under. Mosmock for Dick Dutrow. He's on all cylinders right now. His barn and Dylan Davis aboard has done good work for him. I liked the last race. I thought this horse showed some good determination. Hasn't gone 1.25 miles yet, but I don't think it's going to bother him. Pedigree says that he'll be fine with it. But the thing is, in this race, you don't see that greasy turn of foot late from anybody in this race. Mosmock's going to keep running. I mean, that's, and that alone, that with the upswing being progressing, will make him a win candidate here as opposed to some of the others. And I like Mosmock as maybe the alternative to Batten Down as a horse. If somebody's going to catch him, I think Mosmock might be the one. Krupe, I could never pick this horse to win. I just won't. How many times does this horse have to burn you before you just say, I can't deal with him anymore? He either has problems in the gate or traffic issues, or nothing ever seems to go right for this horse. And, 1.25 miles is right for him for sure. He's not going to have pace to run to. And he's certainly got quality, but he just, to me, is a horse you can pencil him in to finish under. But and if he wins this race, I'm going to let him beat me, because I just can't take a horse like this at a short price who defeats himself time and time again. And it's been that way ever since he made a little noise on the Derby Trail a couple years back, and everybody got excited when he broke so poorly and had to come from the clouds. Well, if they ever figure it out, he'll be a good horse. And for a little while, he did pretty well. But the fact is that every time you expect this horse to run a good race, he doesn't. And he's just a perennial disappointment. Tell us how you really feel, Alex. So he'll beat me. I use him for underneath, but that would be the extent of it. So to me, just looking at the race shape, I think it totally favors Batten Down. I think he's going to get on the lead and not give it up. And so batten down in the Excelsior. Final leg of the Grand Slam is the featured race, the Wood Memorial, a Derby Prep Grade 1, 12th race on the card, running a mile and an eighth for the 3-year-olds. And we do have an individual posting on this if you want a little deeper dive, a little more in-depth analysis. You take a look here at Rodriguez. To me, he's the key to the race. Shipping in for Bob Baffert. He's basically been the workout partner for Barnes and for Citizen Bull. Everybody else, they have not let this horse run where he probably wants to, which is on the lead. Well, he's going to get it here. I think there's no doubt they're going to send him, and he will be the speed of the speed. And I don't think anybody there's of the early speed. I mean, Sand Devil, I don't think wants a mile and an eighth, and Bear Claw Necklace, I don't think is good enough. So you do have the issue of he may be really tough to catch. I think Rodriguez can get a mile and an eighth. I think he has the pedigree for it. I'm not worried about that. And he just has that natural speed that is going to be tough, except for the fact you do have quite a few up there who I think are just going to nudge him along. That's going to make it really difficult for him to get away. Captain Cook would certainly be one of them. Now, I have big questions about Captain Cook and his ability to get a mile and an eighth. Now, you can say, okay, he won the Withers at a mile and an eighth. Sure he did. There was nothing in that race, okay? There was no speed whatsoever. And, in fact, I'm really surprised he didn't wire the field. He just rated off the pace. And when he made his move, that was it. There was nobody who was going to catch him. Dick Tutro, is a great trainer, and this one has quality. I just wonder, raising the stakes with a little tougher competition, that I just have a feeling that the pedigree limitations are going to show up. But he's certainly one you want to use in this race. Grande is Mike Rapoli's latest desperation move to get into the Derby for Todd Pletcher. And, this one has quality. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to get a mile and an eighth. I'm not worried about that. But what I am concerned about is his last race, the two horses he beat, Jimmy's Dailies and Indecisiveness, they didn't run a lick in the Florida Derby. And he didn't blow that field away. He won, but he didn't win, where you go, wow, he's really a Derby prospect. I just watch the way he runs, and I just don't get that wow feeling about him. I think he can keep running. There's quite a few in here that have some limitations as far as pedigree goes. So, yeah, he'll be in the mix. I just don't know that he has enough to get on top. That's really the issue more than anything else. McAfee for Dick Dutrow is one that's kind of interesting. He's shown signs, here and there, but really hasn't put it all together. But I think he'll keep running where a lot of these won't, and for that reason, I would throw him in the mix. I don't think he's a win candidate, though. Statesman is extremely interesting because it's Shug McGahee, first of all, and we know Shug does not put horses into a stakes race until they're ready to do so. He's been gradual with Statesman, working steadily with him. This horse has stellar two-turn pedigree. I can't state that enough. He is a member of the 1X La Troyenne family. That's about as good as it gets. So I really know he's not going to worry about the distance at all. His last race, he didn't beat much, I grant you, and he needs to get faster without a doubt. But also consider, a lot of these don't necessarily want a mile and an eighth, so that kind of elevates him a little bit in my mind. And secondly, in his last race, he looked like he was beat in the stretch. He didn't think there was any appreciable way that he was going to be able to close down and get there, but he did. He really showed a great turn of foot once he got going. Now, I think because we do have mainly the presence of Sand Devil more than anything, I expect the pace to be pretty brisk, and that's definitely going to help Statesman. And if he can take another move forward, he's got a shot in here at a price. Hill Road is my pick to win because he's a late runner, and I think you want that here. Secondly, Chad Brown trains him. This horse needs the race to get into the Derby. Um, I didn't think he ran badly in the Tampa Bay Derby. I think he ran what he normally does. He comes from the back, and he closed pretty well. Didn't have a whole lot of pace to run to, and I don't know that the blinkers are making him more engaged or not. Maybe a little bit more focused. But you go back to that Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and he showed an awful lot there. And I still think he's a better Derby prospect than Chance McPatrick. Apparently, Chad Brown disagrees, and that's okay. And he's Chad Brown, and I'm not. But I think for this race, Hill Road is a really solid pick to win it. I think he's got the pedigree to get him out in an eighth. I think he has the class, and I think he'll probably have some pretty good pace to run to. So Hill Road in the Wood Memorial. Just a little note about Omaha. Omaha, I know he's kind of a horse people get excited about because he's always seems to be there. But I never like it when you have a horse, then there's multiple closers or multiple late runners in the race, because then it's about who gets the trip. And Omaha is one of those horses to me that he just sort of, he ends up sucking up for third, and that's the best he's ever going to do. I don't think he's good enough to beat the better horses in this race. And, I would look for, and he's probably going to be shorter in price than some of the others, so I'm not even going to use him. That's just the way I feel about it. So, Rodriguez, if he's good enough, he can wire this field. He can do it. But I just got a feeling that he's just not going to be able to get away. I don't think Sand Devil is going to let him, nor Captain Cook. And there's enough early pace in here that I think it's going to be a really tall order to wire the field. But if you're looking for a horse, aside from Hill Road, who can wire this field, I think Rodriguez would be the one. But we're going to take Hill Road to take the Wood Memorial. So let's take a look at our ticket. So here's our ticket for the Grand Slam. We're in the race 9. We're going to spread with 2, 3, 4, and 7. In leg 2, the Carter, I think there's only 2 options. I'm going with the 2 and or the 8. Leg 3, race 11, the Excelsior. I think it's battened down to wire the field, but I do think that the 8 for Dick Dutrow does have a shot. He looks like he's on the rise. And Dick Dutrow's barn's just going really too well right now to exclude. So we'll go 3-8 in the 11th race, leg 3. Leg 4, the Wood Memorial, I think we've got a spread. Rodriguez could very well take them all the way. I think it's entirely possible. I just worry, particularly with Sand Devil in the race, he's just not going to be able to get away. Will it be the kind of pace stool that we had in the Arkansas Derby? I don't know. I don't think so. But I just think there's enough early pace there to soften him up, to set things up for a late runner, and that's why we'll go with Hill Road. But we do want to spread. We're going to throw Statesman in there as well as Captain Cook. And Statesman, again, really intriguing horse. And he's going to need to take a move forward. But in this field, it's entirely possible. And the one thing I'll say about Hill Road, we really don't know if he knows how to win yet, because he hasn't. But he just looks like, he could be a perennial bridesmaid, or he could turn into another Sierra Leone for all I know. But he looks pretty good here. So we're going to go spread. We're going to go 1, 2, 6, and 11. Now this is a $1 ticket. So it's 4 times 2 times 2 times 4. That's $64 on a $1 base. That's the minimum for the Grand Slam. So we've got a little alternative while we're waiting for Keeneland on Monday and Tuesday to tide us over. I hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. I wish you the best of luck as always. And again, thanks so much to all of you who continue to subscribe and grow our community. And please do so. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks again. Keep those comments coming, you guys. I know I'm repetitive or redundant with this, but it's really exciting, and I'm just loving the way we've actually got a community where we're all talking to each other. So keep that up. I love it. We I'm going to try to get a full card in for Aqueduct. We will also have the late pick 5 sequence for Keeneland for Saturday's card, as well as the full card for Keeneland. That I promise. Aqueduct, I'm not so sure about, but I'm going to try and get that together for you, time permitting. Life does get in the way on occasion. So, anyway, some more content on the way, and this is just to me a little thing extra to tide us over while we wait for all the rain to stop down in Kentucky. And for all my folks in Kentucky, I do wish you well. Please be safe and hunker down, and I hope the liquor cabinets are full for all the. To get you through what's going to be a pretty tough weekend. And don't mean to make light of it. Please be safe. Thoughts and prayers with you. Wish you well. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.